I see the battery is still keeping up, but it's 6 o'clock according to me, so. Welcome to the Addison Township Board meeting. Today is January 17th at 6 o'clock, and we're having the meeting at the Township offices at 1440 Rochester Road. If we could all stand for the pledge. Ed, you're our veteran. Can you please start?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support to this board as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in a meaningful discussion and achieve unity on our decisions, and let us be reminded that our decisions tonight affect the township as a whole. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Do your roll call, please.
Mary Frost.
Here.
Karen Geibel. Here. Linda Garrett. Here. Ed Brightfield.
Here.
Roy Fisher. Here. Bennett present. Supervisor Pearson.
Here. Everyone's accounted for. Okay, any announcements?
No.
Department reports, as usual, available in my office. Just contact myself or Jamie in my office. Any petitions?
No.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Any discussion? Did we want to change the date on anything or not?
Yes, I'll come during the consent.
Okay, good enough then. Okay, no discussion? Do we have roll call on that, please?
Yes. Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes?
Karen Geibel.
Yes.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Roy Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, now the consent agenda.
Yes, before the board is a consent agenda consisting of the December minutes, December bills, approval of a budget public hearing date for February 21st, and approval of the 23-24 fiscal meeting dates. But before we go further, I found that we should change from April 17th to April 10th, 2023, which would be the second Monday of the month versus the third.
And that is because everybody's going to the MTA convention. So nobody will be here
So what's the new date?
April 10th?
the week before.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? Or
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as modified. Support.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Any further comments? Okay, not hearing any. Roll call, please.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Lydia Garrett.
Yes.
Karen Geibel.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Roy Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, move on to item number 2. This is a resolution authorizing policy and procedures for site plan applications with final site plan inspections. This application, first of all, allows the township engineers that are familiar with a plan that they're working on, that they'll do the final inspections. And because some of these plans are big, like the Salvation Army, and they're over there in the columbariums. Anyways, and our building official thinks it'd be a wise thing to have our engineers approve all the stuff that they've already been inspecting. So, and remember, just remember, our building department is part-time, and I think it's most fitting that the agency review the site plan and also review the building as it's being built. Okay. So currently, PEA is our engineers. They inspect. And the columbariums, they did that for us, and Salvation Army, and it seems to be working well. So, any questions on this? Does anybody have any questions? Does it sound reasonable to everybody to have the experts if they're already handling the issue? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to move the resolution authorizing the policy and procedure for site plan applications with final site plan inspections.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any further discussion on that?
I just want to add, a lot of times in building departments, being that I work in one,
Our inspectors will request third-party engineering reports from the builder's engineer who needs to be on site to look at cement or compaction and I didn't know if we already do that or if this is gonna be something that they're gonna do.
They won't create that for them. If it's required, our engineer will ask the applicant's engineer to create something.
So
to that.
anytime you have any engineering aspects of the foundation or something like that, they should be supplying to us.
Correct, and they do.
Okay.
But this is only gonna apply to site plans, not anything, like a home or something like that. That would be on an on-call basis.
Okay, well, typically anything with a site plan
And I'll give you
is,
the example for the library. They were gonna have to come up with that engineered plan showing the compact, and then Matt would inspect it.
right, so then well, no, because a lot of times if they have these engineered foundations, they have to have a third-party engineer on site and then provide us with an engineered signed and sealed letter that says that this was all done according to the plans.
You're asking if our engineers are gonna be there?
No, I'm saying, is this in lieu of that process, or is
No.
it, okay?
It's a new process, so that our engineers are involved.
Yep.
I just wanted to say I'd also like to see us move towards the digital copies of the site plans. I was quite happy when we got one last week. It makes it easy to store, easy to file. I don't know how much that costs to print those hard copies.
I think that's
It costs a lot, but it would actually require an amendment to our ordinance, which of course this is not part of the agenda item, but most of them do send it digital now because they realize that I can just hit forward to the professionals. So we are getting more and more digital copies. The professionals, I think, might still want the digital copy so that they can still circle the items and also stamp it approved.
Can we then, as a board, if anybody else doesn't want a hard copy?
We'd have to change the ordinance and it would be a separate agenda item because that's not on the agenda right now.
No, I like hard copies because I need the paper and look at it and go through, and when you're adjusting things
You do.
around on a screen, you can't see it.
Just see
A
the
lot of
whole
times you
overview.
can't even blow things up to look at numbers, or, for me, I work with site plans.
I agree, I have to look at the hard copy too in order to get the whole picture because you can't see it all on there.
Fire chief had one.
I would like a hard copy as well, because when you're looking at everything, you kind of seem to miss things if you're moving around on a screen. So a hard copy for me, if that would help, and I would like a hard copy.
It's not on the agenda, so
Yeah.
let's just move forward.
Anyways, we had a motion and we had a second. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, no further discussion on this one. Roll call, please.
Mary Frost,
Yes.
Ed Wakefield,
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Karen Dottle.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, okay, so the resolution so moved. Let's see, number 3 here. Moving on to item number 3, authorization to create an RFP to update the master plan. Well, I guess this was brought to my attention recently, and I think it's a good idea to have the exterior and the maps and the adoption dates updated in an electronic format for posting on the web. The chairman of the planning commission has expressed interest that the board go out for RFP and award the PC, and then the PC will review and approve the product. I agree, and we also need to decide if we want the RFP to come back to the board for approval or just have legal approve it. And also, it's a professional service, and I'd like to waive the purchasing ordinance as far as advertising in the paper and ask the clerk to forward to a few of the planners in the area. And I guess we have no idea what the cost is, but I think what we were allocating $5,000, I believe, for the planning department for the master plan update. Anybody have any questions on this? Yes?
This is something that has to be done every 5 years, is that?
Yes.
No, they already
Well-
approved the 5-year. What I'm after, and it was brought up even at the planning commission meeting, we don't have a digital copy, so our website, I mean, we just got a new website, so it looks old. When you open these packages, it's dating back to 2002. Well, I think we should update and show who just recently approved it, and then also list the board member that's current. The maps that are attached, it would be nice if we could find somebody that could do digital. So for an example, in your board pack, I went ahead and attached some of the items and the resolutions. Let me find this last one. So this one, the county created for me. It's really nice, but this is what's in our master plan. So to turn all of these into a digital format is basically all we're doing. We're not asking the person to go in and recreate, only to do the update so that it looks like the planning commission just recommended approval in 2022, which is what they did.
So do you then, I know you're asking to waive the purchasing ordinance, so is there people that have done this in the past for us, or that we?
No, so our planner, he declined, so I went onto the planning website. And they have a list of planners in the area, so I would still go ahead and send an RFP to planners that kind of are in our area, or an hour away, maybe hour and a half away, and see what comes back. And then the board would receive the price, because we don't know. I haven't been contacted anyone yet, so I have no clue what they're gonna charge for this, but we do have, like Bruce said, 5,000 in our budget for it. So the aspect of we're looking for a planner in the newspaper, I'm just trying to save the money, because there's only so many planners in our area. So let me send them out to the planners.
And some of our neighbors have really good ones too, so we might tap into those.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's no changes to the master plan, it's all, it's just the documents that we're looking to get updated.
okay. Anybody?
Two motions?
I need, well, no, I think I only need the one motion. Oh, what do I need one to waive?
I'd like to make a motion to waive the purchasing ordinance.
I'll support.
Okay, on the first motion, anybody have anything they'd like to add? This is to waive for professional services. Do we have roll call on that, please?
Yes. Karen Gagnon.
Yes.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Lydia Garrett.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Treasurer Fisher.
Yes.
Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, the second part then is a motion to move forward with the RFP to update the master plan.
I'll make that motion.
Can we add,
Not to say $5,000.
well, it's gonna come back for us to look at, but I would have to say, because legal hasn't even looked at the specifications with legal approval before it goes out.
Exhibit 1.
The agreement in Exhibit 1 would have to be reviewed by legal.
I'll amend my motion that the Exhibit 1 and what else?
The agreement,
Agreement has to be approved by the
and then
attorney.
it's okay to send out, right?
Yep.
I'll support.
Are you all done adding on to his motion? We all set?
Not quite.
Anybody else want to add anything on there? I'm just checking, I don't want.
So in other
Too
words,
quick
she's
here.
afraid she just wants the attorney to see it before she
Right.
goes to jail.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Karen Gagnon.
Yes.
Linda Garrett. Yes. Mary Frost.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Roy Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Okay, now this is the, number 4 is the 2023-24 MMRMA insurance renewal for $54,730. That's between the fire and the general fund insurance accounts. We've had MMRA for many, many years, and as you know, the longer you stay with them, the more you become involved financially with them, and so we do get refund checks every year, and sometimes we've insured the whole township for $3,000 because we got enough back. This year, I spoke with Tim, who is our representative from MMRMA, and we will be getting $37,390 back this year. Our renewal is $54,730, So we're insuring the whole township, fire department, and everything for $17,340. That's pretty darn good. Like I said, it's not as good as a few years ago. We insured the township for $3,000 after, but that was a big windfall. When they don't have a lot of claims, this is a nonprofit, so we also benefit. So we still benefited here for $17,340. I know for me to insure my house alone is $3,000. So I think for insuring the whole fire department and the whole township with millions of dollars of assets and liability, I think we're doing pretty darn good on that. So anyways, what I'm looking for is a motion renewal for 2023-24 with MMRMA insurance for $54,730 between the fire and general fund accounts.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add on that?
Nope, you said it all.
I'm not hearing any. Can we have roll call, please? Did you have something you want to say?
No.
Anybody? No? Okay.
Sounds
Roll call,
good to
please.
me.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Mary Cross.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Karen Gardner.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, we've had a long standing with them as long as I've been in office. And we have done extremely well compared, and I have met with all the other insurance companies at MTA, and nobody can even come close to this. And like I said, the longer you stay and the less claims you have, the more return we get from them. So it's a very good product for us. Okay, number 5, resolution for clerk, supervisor, treasurer, and trustee wages, township wage resolution, and fire department wage resolution. We discussed the rates now for several months. We typically look around, and like I said, Social Security for 2023 went up 8.7%, and our seniors still lost ground. What I'm proposing, and have said this all along, that we have to retain our employees, and we don't want to be a training ground where everybody, we train them, we have some of the best employees around, and then they get stolen from someone else because somebody offers another dollar or something. So I think this is fair to the employees, so I'm requesting that we have a 7% increase with a 1% increase to the MERS retirement. Does anybody have any questions? Well, what I'm looking for is just one motion on all of this. I don't think we need to do one for each separate, so if somebody would entertain a motion.
Bruce, I'll make that motion to approve the resolution to establish township officer salary.
Okay, that's a motion to move the wage resolution for the clerk, the supervisor, the treasurer, trustee wages, township wage resolution for the fire department also.
Yes.
Okay,
Are
do
you
we-
done adding to that?
I'm just learning from you, that's all. I don't want you hanging out there all by yourself.
Thank you, I do like that
Would you
company.
like our lawyer to look this over before? Oh,
No,
sorry.
we're good.
Okay.
Not over my
What I'm
head.
looking for is a second now.
I'll second that.
And we have a second. Thank you, Mary. Any further discussion? Now, here, we have roll call on that, please.
Yes. Karen Gardner.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Mary Cross.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, resolution is so moved. Okay, we'll move on to item number 6. Budget review. And this is the general fund, the police, the park, the fire improvement revolving fund. And as you know, February will be the public hearing for the fund. This is our review prior to the public hearing. We do have the fire department and the sheriff's office here. We have their budgets. I'm going to let them speak real quick as to their budgets when it comes time. Would you like to go through this page by page? Okay, we'll start on page number 1. I will look at the revenue. We had $2,691,971.45. I just wanted to remark that we have 3 months left, and we've spent $1,601,515.27. So we're $1 million under budget right now for the last 3 months. So we're in really good shape, as we always are, every year for the last 15 years. And I can remember. That's all I've been here is 15 years. Anybody on page 1, anything you'd like to add?
Could always use more revenue.
We'll move on to page 2. I know we've been doing this for several months, so I know everybody has looked through this. Page 3. Okay, and comments, page 4. I will say that we put a little bit more money into the chloride program because, as you know, we don't know if our same vendor is going to be doing that anymore. We might have to go to the road commission unless there's another vendor available. So we put a little bit extra in that because the road commission is like a penny a foot more per application, which adds up to, I think, about $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 more a year, just so that everybody understands that. Page 5.
Can I ask a question on page 4?
Pardon?
I wanted to ask a question on.
Yes.
So our loan payment for this building, where are we at with the balance on that?
I looked at that the other day. I think we have 4 more payments to make. It's due February 1st, so it doesn't show up on the report yet because it's not due yet. But we've got a couple more years to go.
Yep. So, and those are down to what, about 100,000 and some change?
Payments were the same across the board, I think 115.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think we built this building, what, 2015?
15.
Okay, so in 2025, we should be completely
10
paid
years.
off. Yep. Well, close to it.
But we have a great rate, so we're actually earning a lot more now than.
And remember the day I said, get the loan because you won't ever see them this cheap again. And now all of a sudden we can make 4 or 5% in the bank now on the same amount of money that the bank doesn't have. Okay, so, but anyways, Lori's got that under control, so.
Since we're on page 4,
Pardon?
since we're on page 4.
Yes.
The planner fees, do you anticipate spending more money 2023 than 2021 and 2?
On the planner fees?
That would be 806,000.
Well, that's something that we would have to bring up separately, right?
It says move from
He's
28
on
to
a
34.
he's on a yearly agreement, so it's hard to guess what it's
Oh,
going to
okay,
be.
so-
So that's why I just kept it the same, because I really don't know. If it goes up, then we'll have to do a budget amendment.
Well, if it goes up, we're still covered then.
Yeah, it depends how much, but yeah, that's true too.
And we're talking about our planner.
That's
which,
a
you
good
know,
question.
we-
Yeah, that's a
He
good
did do a
question.
1-year extension for us, but we don't know if he will be back or not. He does a lot of other volunteer stuff. And
Okay.
I don't know if he'll be back or not. That's something to be seen. Okay, we'll move on to number 5.
That's the player.
Jerry, would you like to speak a little bit at all about your budget? I saw it. It looks like it's all in order.
Well, if anybody has any questions, I was not prepared to go through that.
Yeah, we've gone through
my
it,
people
so-
with me, but I do have a lot of it in my head, if anybody has any questions.
Okay, you don't have any more capital purchases?
Nope, there's those things that I had in there, yep, and I worked all that out with Pauline. So yeah, it looks,
We're good, and
Yeah,
then you're moving along with the improvements now on the,
on Station 1, yep, the board approved, so we were able to spend some money out of this year's budget that we had left over from Station 2. But we're holding back on Station 2, and I'm gonna put that back in the budget again. And hopefully we can do something with that, remodeling at Station 2. There's no other big purchases except for that. There's no trucks or anything next year. There's some gear and some other miscellaneous things that won't add up much there, but in the operating budget, we have, we're using the millage money that we have to supplement, so we're good.
great. Yeah, I saw
You
you
should all be
put
there.
out a real nice budget pamphlet that tells us what's going on, so.
Yeah, and I'll get that to you. I want to wait until the board approves it before I give you my packet, my budget, binder.
Very good. Okay, thanks.
All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. It wasn't,
No, that's fine.
We're running around and
We've seen your budget, and we know you,
at least I was
you
honest.
squeak every budget, and we know that. So, page number, I think we're on, what, 6 right now? Anything on 6? Fire chief pretty much has that under control. Page 7, we go to the police. So we have the commander of the station here, and maybe you can just tell us kind of quickly. I see that we have enough revenue, and we have enough to handle our budget. And in the future, it looks like I've spoken with the commander that someday we may want to consider getting one more man so that we can beef up, so that we have, right now we have a floating car on afternoons and midnights. He comes in halfway through the afternoon and then stays till early in the morning, so that there isn't an officer by himself, only for a few hours. But if we add one more man, then we can put 3 men on the midnight shift and 3 men on the afternoon shift. That means when the man takes a day off, there's still 2 men left. Okay, because there's, in the old days when I patrolled all this area, I patrolled Oakland and Addison all by myself, and I didn't have any backups, so they always came from Oxford or Rochester. But times have changed, and I want all these officers to go home just like the rest of us. And so I'm trying my best that if we get enough revenues, that Commander Jason here, he'll explain a little bit. Go ahead, if you have a few words that you want to say.
Yeah, pretty much, you just pretty much explained it pretty well. I mean, the millage is basically covering what we have now as far as the contract goes. Projecting outward, I think is where you're going with this is probably in another couple of years. Hopefully we would have enough to add 1 or 2 people. We would at least need 1, but like you said, to have 3 people on a shift so that when a guy takes a day off, because it sounds like you have 3 people and that's enough to cover. You should have 2 at least on every day, but that's not exactly right because the days alternate. So it's more about covering the days off, because different people, they can't all have the same days off. So if you have 3 people as opposed to 2, you could, in essence, have 2 people on all the time. So that's what he's looking at as far as the future. For right now, we're good. We're solid. The balance, the budget's totally balanced as far as the millage goes and as far as the contract rates go for what we have right now. Right now, we currently have 7 deputies assigned to the substation position.
And right now, we have 3 4-wheel drive
Yeah.
vehicles out here, which is great, because you can't get around Addison Township without a 4-wheel drive Tahoe or whatever, so. We don't have, in the old days, you used to have to try to do it in a regular car, which you had to walk to half of the calls, but now you don't have to. But
Yeah. Also, just to add, I was just on the phone actually just last week about the new radio system. It looks like hopefully that is going to be coming into play pretty soon. That'll be a significant improvement. I know the fire chief was looking at that. We're hoping that it's actually going to be this year.
This time next year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, as they always say.
Yes. Is there anything else that you need from us, or you're good?
At this point,
Station?
we are doing pretty good in the station. The maintenance has been good. We, very minor things that we need to add, just some like electrical outlets for some of the charging stations for our drones, because new drone unit and new body cams, things like that, but really minor expenses.
Okay, and I like I said, I hope that if we keep building out here and we keep adding residences or some businesses or whatever, we'll have enough to, I don't want to put on another man until we make sure that we have more than enough to cover them, because I never want to have to lay anybody off later on or anything like that. I mean, that's happened in the past in 2008, which we never did lay anybody off in Addison because we were more than prepared, but the other townships had some struggles with that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And nobody has any questions on 7, on page 8. Okay, we'll go on to page 9 for the parks. As you know, we're getting revenue still from the tower, and it keeps going up every year. That's why we don't have a millage in this township for parks. Verizon is our millage. Move on to page 10.
Can I ask a question? A quick
Yes.
one? How much do we get from them every year?
Oh, you want to know that?
Just a ballpark.
Well, right now, it looks like 23, 24, what was that, 21,900, is that
About
right?
22,000.
Wow,
For the park tower,
That's the
we
park.
get much more for the tower out front.
really?
This one is much, much more. But
Really?
this one, we got a contract with co-locators. The co-locators are the added. We
Wow.
get 1/3 of everything they add on to this tower here. So you're talking more like, I think it's 90,000 now.
Wow.
So, and they don't do those anymore.
Thank you.
Okay? But that's why everybody wants to buy our tower. And I will just say 2 words about this. I get daily mailings wanting to buy our tower, okay? I've been getting that since I've been in office. And the first offer was, 300,000, then it was 600,000, and I always say, no, thank you, no, thank you. This is the goose that keeps laying the golden egg, okay? There are other municipalities just to the west of us who did sell all theirs for 600,000, and now that money's gone and they don't get any more revenue from it. Now we're up to $90,000 a year, and now they're up to, I think the last quote I had, and I had Mr. Davis looking, we're getting up closer to $3 million now for the tower. So, like I said, where can you make that kind of money in the bank? So, the next board and the next generation, I hope, kill the goose that's laying the golden egg, but that's just how I learned it for the last 15 years.
I need
But
the
anyway,
magic beans.
pardon?
I said I need the magic beans so I get up and get that group that lays the golden egg.
Well, I learned, in many years, you wonder why everybody wants to buy it from me. And other municipalities jumped at it to fill their voids, and now they don't have that anymore. So anyways. Okay, we'll go on to page 10. From there, page 11, it's fire capital. Good on that, we know that, so 12. We're good on that, fire capital again. Recovery costs on page 13. Okay, go to page 14. Still cost recovery. We'll go on to page 15. That's the revolving fund. And so we have money in there, again, to pave, we did Catchacoma, Menardi, and now that's a SAD, they'll be paying us back now yearly. And now there's another road here, like I said, Peninsula, and possibly Annandale, they want to pave their roads. And there's money in here for them to do that. I know that Peninsula already has the engineering drawings done. So hopefully maybe this summer we'll have that paved and we'll loan them the money and they can pay us back. It's a win-win for all of us. We go on to page 16. And then nobody has any questions, we'll just move on then. Okay. Public forum. Anybody in the public would like to come speak? Anybody in the public would like to speak? Nobody? Okay. We'll go to Addison Township Board reports. Anybody on the board have a report from any of their boards?
No, I am getting more connected to SEMDOT. I'm sorry, what's it called?
SEMCOG, yep.
SEMCOG,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna meet somebody And so she's gonna tell me more how it works and stuff, and so I am pursuing that for you.
Very good.
She's getting a lot of emails.
Oh,
I'm starting to get a lot of emails, yes.
I'll do it real quick about broadband, and I sent it to Mary. Broadband grants were opened up on Friday. Our largest carrier is Charter. I'm hoping that Charter will say that they will build Addison out. If they say no, that there is no interest to build Addison out, it's like, I really don't know where we're gonna go. So, fingers crossed that Charter will build out Addison and hopefully Oxford so that we will have full coverage.
and you know, Charter is everything north of 32 Mile Road, and, you know, the other one is bigger, and they seem to be more cooperative. But Charter covers everything in northern Michigan, and for some odd reason, Addison's been kind of semi-left out, and we're hoping to remedy that, because I don't know, we don't have any other options. I mean, you know, if you want high-speed internet, you can do it by Verizon, but it's very expensive. But if we could get hardwire and fiber optic with Charter, with the grant, really a lot better for our students and everything to keep up with their homework, because everything's done online now, so.
And I should add though, that if anybody here is interested, if Charter takes us on, they're actually gonna do the grant. But we need letters of support, and what they're after is especially businesses or homes that have children. And we're gonna have to move very quickly. She said the window, just like with the Spark grant, the windows are very short for these grants. So when she notifies me, I'll just be sending out emails to the board. Contact your people who you know that do not have service, and we need a support letter, and then I'll give you like a deadline. The Spark grant was put in December. It met the deadline. We could not use any of the ARPA funds. We have not heard back from the Spark grant yet as far as whether or not they're gonna give us the funding for the park, so we're waiting on that as well.
Can I make one small comment? My neighbors had problems on the end of van, and they just went with Spectrum. The whole bunch of them went. And they're taking care of their remote issue. Spectrum's not on the,
Spectrum is Charter. They've kind of changed their
oh,
names.
they're the same
But
thing.
Charter, yeah,
Okay,
Charter is our #1 service provider.
okay, so that's basically the same as Charter.
Yep.
Spectrum and Charter. Okay,
And I have talked to Tim at the end of the road. He
Yes.
didn't even talk to me,
Yeah.
and they did get there.
they got,
resolved.
yeah, they went with Spectrum, so I was curious about that. Okay.
So is it correct to think that we're about 10% of the township is without internet?
I sent you the maps. I'll resend them so that you can see the areas that are underserved or
Which is
no
me.
service. Yeah, so I'll send out that map again. Charter provided a map of where their coverage is. And so, yeah, I'll send that out.
And the problem is, it's not that we're not, a lot of places aren't covered, it's how fast is your speed. I mean, you know, they tell us that, oh yeah, you have coverage. Well, yeah, you can ask it a question and tomorrow you get the answer. I mean, that isn't how, you know, that's what our problem is in the rural areas. So we're trying to get the high speed so that our kids can compete just like everybody in the city or whatever. So anyways, any legal reports, communications? We got any communications? That's a first. Okay, supervisor's report. The only thing I want to bring up is the electrical outages that we've been having up in Leonard. I've been in contact with our liaison from DTE. His name is Leif Clark. I called him the minute that the electricity went out. Matter of fact, I had a group of people at my house, and of course, right across the street from me, they were all out of electricity, and so I heard from the people in the village and part of the township, and the problem is this has happened several times now. And once again, it's the explanation is that things are breaking. Well, the last time this happened, we had all new poles put in around the township, and so I think I am going to meet along with the village president, Mr. McDonald, and we're going to start walking the poles in Leonard and find out just how old they really are, because I have a funny feeling they're like what we had. The poles were 1938. So we're gonna get them to improve the service because they've been out, I think 3 or 4 times on a Friday night. I don't know if you have been, have you?
No, I have not.
Theirs comes from Oxford line there, but all the way down the whole north end of the township, from Leonard, east and west and north has been out. So we're gonna force them to start putting some money into Leonard there to update it, because I do know some of the poles there are from the 1930s. And what happened the last time, I think, is the cross beams were just breaking. The part where the lines go on with the, what do they call those, glass?
Transformers?
Yeah, well, no, the
Transponders?
transformers were blowing up too, but it's not the conductors or whatever they call them there. But anyways, the T's were breaking, and that's what our problem was. And this time, there was no wind, no snow, there wasn't anything, so I think it's just age is what's happening. So anyways, that's all I have to say. So I would like to remind everybody that the next meeting is going to be February 21st. That's on another Tuesday. It's not a Monday. It's a Tuesday because there's a holiday. And what I'm looking for is a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
I support.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.